There's a science fiction film, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. And the whole point was these buds come from outer space, these kind of pods, and they start taking over people one by one. And the way you know the person's taken over is because they have this like glassy eye thing, and they have like they're very agreeable, but they have no personality. Their personality is like of a vegetable, so they're just kind of, you know, and it spreads one to the other, and it just takes away their humanness. And that's the way also the words of the enemy have their effect. From one to the other, it takes away love, takes away fellowship, takes away peace, takes away the joy, takes away purity, takes away that purity we have when we're just looking at the Lord. The germ of the enemy incubates in people who are unhealthy in spirit. If they've let this thing grow and grow and grow, people who get into bitterness and let bitterness take over, it just infests them. And they can hardly say a word, and some of you know people like that. They can hardly say a word without something coming out to tear down and negative. That and cutting, sarcastic, critical, words of death, because that's what they let in their heart. Then it goes to the people who are off guard, not resistant to people can be young in the Lord, not resistant, or just never dealt with it. They have the immune system is not the same way, and they go, or they have a weakness in the area, whatever it is. Then it goes to them. Then it can go to healthy and healthier people can succumb if they give room for the enemy. It says you are what you eat, physically. Spiritually, you are what you believe. You are what you believe. You become what you believe. If you believe the worst, you become the worst. If you believe the best, you become the best. You are what you believe. And the way the enemy spreads his words, his accusations, are through a seed. It's just the same way. It's like a seed that then when you receive it, it becomes darkness, fault-finding, in our heart, bitterness. It produces more seed. It starts, you know, some people, it's the thought that comes in their mind, and they go with it, and get bitter and bitter and bitter. That's just one way it goes, bitter. Then they have to say it. It's going to come out. It can't say it's going to come out. When it comes out, it goes to another ear. It goes to someone's ear. That's how it's spread. It spreads through the ear. Faith comes by hearing. So also doubt. So also the enemy. So the good and the bad. The hearing, or if you have an internet, it can come on the internet. It can come on the mail. Words, but symbolized by the ear. And if we listen to it, we give ear to it, then it starts. If we don't reject it immediately, we ponder it, it starts poisoning. And if we then to our mind, and then to our heart. You hang around a person who's sick, very sick, long enough, you're going to get sick. If you hang around someone who's always negative, you're going to get stuck. You're going to become struck with negative things. Satan wants you spiritually sick. He wants you spiritually incapacitated. He wants to throw a flood from his mouth of bad news and accusation and all sorts of stuff. He wants you dead spiritually. But he always starts the destruction with a word. He is the first gossip in the universe. Satan is the first gossip in the universe. He's the root, and therefore, thus the root behind all. All slander comes from the dragon's mouth, and has transmitted through those whom wittingly or unwittingly have given a foothold. Some who do it with gusto and it's their whole life. Others who are good people who fall into it. But he is behind it. Now there's the flu. Some people get injections, inoculations. If we're going to deal with the warfare of the enemy, we have to be able to resist his words. Resist his words of discouragement, of divisiveness, of accusation, of slander, of death. We have to fight the good fight. This is only against the principalities. We're all in the same boat. We have to fight the good fight. We have to be tested in God. We want to inoculate each other as best as possible. We want to strengthen each other as best as possible. You know, when people are going to war, they're getting given shots because they're going to be out there. That's what this is that I was led to do at the last minute. The first thing is, it's never against you against another person. Never. Your enemy is not flesh and blood. That's what the enemy wants you to think, so you can destroy each other. You have no enemy in flesh and blood. There might be people who might be used of your enemy, but the enemy is the enemy. When you gossip, he's using, or someone gossips, when they're any gossip, he's using one person that he wants to destroy against another person who he wants to destroy, speaking to another person whom he wants to destroy. He wants to destroy the gossiper, the one gossiped about, and the gossipee, the one, that's a new word, the gossipee, which is good. The one who is receiving the gossip. You understand? Each one he wants to poison. Each one. He wants each one to think the other one's against them. So when gossip comes, it's as if somebody with a deadly disease is breathing into your face. See it for what it is. It will empower everything that's bad that goes in your life, that goes going against. The old self, the old nature will immediately rise. And it will work against your life. Even though you think it's about somebody else. No, it's about the person speaking and you listening. And the person.
To find out how you can receive more of Jonathan's teachings, to receive special free gifts, or get in touch, go to hopeoftheworld.org or call toll-free 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's hopeoftheworld.org or call 1-800-YESHUA-1. That's 1-800-937-4821. You can also get more at Jonathan Cahn's Facebook page or write us direct at Hope of the World, Box 1111, Lodi, New Jersey 07644, USA.